baby. It's episode. Guys, do you know what episode it is?
I still think we're on season 2. So
24.
It's season 3.
Episode 39.
It's episode
21.
20.
Damn it.
2-0. Not 2 zeros. 2-0. Listen, dude, we have a wonderful, wonderful episode of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast here. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. It is the #1 podcast of all podcasts.
Of all AVG podcasts.
You know, it's the #1 fantasy football podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Don't fact check us. Okay?
I did. I looked it up on Google.
Oh my God.
I looked at #1 AVG football podcast.
Listen,
Damn.
if you want to be a part of the AVG family, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. All those links can be found down below. Yeah, if you want to get direct contact with us on Instagram and Twitter, is like perfect for that. If you're listening to this in the future, not live right now.
In the future,
but also now, kind of confusing.
Like robotic?
If you're listening to this on audio in the future, give us a rating, a review on Apple Podcast app.
or if you're an astronaut in space.
Yeah, if you're an astronaut in space using a space pen,
Luckiest
you can write
people.
upside down with those space pens.
Dude, did they barbecue out there? Whatever.
Something like that.
Use the sun.
Charcoal.
Can you grill out there? I mean,
Build
shit
a
just
hot
flies
dog.
up in the air.
There's a lot going on in the news, but we want to keep you in your football.
Yeah, this is an escape.
Yeah, it's an escape to football. Okay,
Yes.
That's what we love.
It's a good times.
Opening the door.
So if you're listening to this in the future as well, if there's certain parts of the podcast you're interested in, we're talking about tight ends in this one, and if there's a certain tight end you want to hear us talk about, go ahead and check the table of contents within the description, and it will you'll be able to navigate through the episode and see exactly when we're talking about Darren Waller, when we're talking about Tyler Higbee, Noah Fant, all these guys you'll be able to find more easily in the episode through the table of contents in the description. So now that that's all being said, today we're doing tight ends. We did a rankings episode, so if you want to go check that out, that's on episode 19. That's just on our YouTube or on the podcast app. But today we're doing tight end repeat or deplete. Basically what we do is go over the tight ends from the previous year, from 2019, and what they finished at, what rank they finished at. I have the list here, okay? And once we go through each one, you guys are going to guess whether or not that tight end is going to repeat or deplete.
Yeah.
Repeat or deplete. So you guys want to get into it or what?
Let's do it.
I didn't introduce my co-host as well. This is Tyler Vellis.
No, that's not his name.
That's your boy T.
That's my boy T. That's my boy T.
That's my boy D.
We got Andre Navarro.
Hey,
we
listen.
got no headphone ever.
Never.
Anthony swore that even if he was on ESPN,
100%.
he would not wear headphones on.
Because when we get to
ESPN.
ESPN will cater to me.
Do you really think that you?
Bet.
Until they fire
What
him.
would you say? You give him an ultimatum?
No, he goes cater to me.
Oh.
Do you want to be on this podcast or no? All right, cool. We're
They'd
not
be
really
like,
close.
nah, you know what? We'll get the next internet guy.
Yeah.
But listen, I want y'all to
Tell
know.
me someone who is
What?
as colorful.
And
as
we
my
pulled up to
shirt
y'all
and my
house.
Shorts.
We pulled up to the house, and Petey's like, "Yo, what's up, T?" I was like, "See, someone
Yeah.
else calls him T.
Maybe
Petey calls him T.
I guess
I'm
because
telling
I
you.
hang around Tyler's like family,
Yeah.
and nobody in his family calls him T.
We call him T. I'm telling you. He was like, "What's up, T?"
His name is T.
You know,
Now,
Your boy
now,
T.
and you now
Boy
you know.
T, you know.
The more you know.
Just
Well,
saying.
listen,
Hashtag fun fact.
you guys ready for my sweet
Hashtag.
drop?
There's a good note with football is that June 5th, which is tomorrow, I believe.
Let's get it.
Coaching
day.
staffs and employees can report to the facility. So it's looking like it
We're
might
right on
happen. And it's more like we have basketball showing up now. They're what, June 31st?
July 31st.
Yeah. So if we
Right?
get basketball and we get NHL, I'm confident about NFL.
For
So there's some good signs going forward because this is something we've
Yeah.
been doing this, and it's like, all right, like to see some positives is like it's exciting.
For sure.
So we don't want to do this, and it's like,
We're not doing this for
well,
fun, but we are.
This is a 2-year dynasty league.
Yeah, you know, just sit on him for 2 years and see what happens.
Yeah, so just some good news with that. So like, all right, a little bit excitement news.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. All right.
Looking like we're going back to the regular. So, you guys ready for my favorite drop?
Yep.
Dude, do it.
All right, hold on.
Let me hear it.
It's time to repeat or deplete.
Solid.
I always laugh because Dre looks over at me.
That looked like that sounded like that was you again, dude. Every time I'm like, is that
Well,
you?
because it is me, but not.
Dude, that sounds good, man.
It's me in the past. It's future.
The
Mike
future
is-
you,
Future
exactly.
Mike's mouth is
I
closed.
can't wait to be an ESPN and not wear headphones.
All right, so let's get right into it. So what I did here actually is I brought a timer into this. Okay.
Yes. Speed
So-
talk.
You got 30 seconds to basically state your claim, whether this person's going to repeat or deplete. Right. It's pretty self-explanatory. You got 30 seconds. If you run out of time and you're still talking, we get to tase you.
And you shut the
I
fuck
mean,
up.
What if I
just-
just pulled out that taser? Right
I mean,
Hey, we do have a taser, Loki.
we do have it. We'll save that for later.
I
Yes,
had to
got you.
hide it from Mike because that was his favorite toy.
Yeah, it was really fun to play with. Okay,
It was really fun to play.
You guys aren't gonna be able to see yourselves right here, so
All right,
I'm
that's
just letting
fine.
you know.
Go ahead. Let's get it.
Okay, and then here's the chat right here. So if you
Is
guys
that
wanna-
Red Rocket from
if
Pokemon?
anybody types in the chat,
do it.
so if you guys want to
Everything's
join us, write in the chat. You know what I mean? That'd be
All right.
sweet.
All
We'll
right, we
respond.
got Hooper first. Is that
It's
what
So
we're
really-
saying?
yeah,
right?
all right, ready? Who wants to go first?
Is it 30 seconds each?
30 seconds each.
Well, who's the player?
Austin Hooper.
Oh, I just
Austin
saw-
Hooper. Sorry, excuse me. Okay.
What was
yeah,
his finish?
yeah, I know. I'm gonna
He's
get
gonna
to that.
All right.
To get better.
Go
You
ahead.
should be in
Go
our
ahead, Mike.
minds.
Go ahead, Mike. Let's get it. Let's get it, Mike.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
All right. Austin Hooper finished 2019 as the tight end 6. Ready? Who's going first?
For the sake of sickness, I'll go first.
Okay.
You hit the
30
buzzer.
seconds. Wait. 30 seconds. Go.
Go. I'm gonna say deplete for the simple fact has nothing to do with talent. Too many other weapons. Offensive coordinator. More of a run heavy scheme. I think they're going to try to distribute it and keep teams off balance. So I'm going to say deplete 6, but it doesn't mean he's too far off. So that is what I'm going to ride with. I think he's going to get a good amount of targets still. Could get some end zone love, but I think overall he's going to be deplete for the season. Still top 10 though.
Wow. That was like you did it before. That was amazing.
In my
You
head.
did that super quick. That was really, really good. I'm impressed.
Gracias,
And
güey.
I'll stop stroking you now to go on to who's next. Ready? Who?
I'll go, guys.
Okay.
Do it. Speed.
I'll say deplete. And I'm just going to agree with everything Andre said.
Record time.
4
Five-
seconds.
Boy, dude, that's like the world's fastest knockout.
I didn't even see that coming. That's Mike Tyson's speed.
Yeah.
All right. Ready? There you go, Anthony.
I'm gonna say deplete. I think the upside is touchdowns alone, based
Yeah.
off of volume inconsistency. He's not someone I want to touch based off of target volume. Is the touchdown upside there potentially? But like I said, I'm got more looking at targets and consistency and stuff like that. I'm gonna stay away in the top where he's getting drafted in the top 10.
Done.
yeah.
So,
So deplete.
would
that's
you
my
take
answer.
him in like if he's? I mean,
Hey,
I
how
guess
about you
that's a
shut
good
up? 'Cause the
question.
time's over.
I was like, no, I'm saying for the sake of talking now.
Okay, for the sake of
Like,
talking.
No, that's
like,
fine, that's fine.
like 9th round, would you take him? Or is he like someone you would take as like
Well,
a
that's where,
second tight
that's
end?
where the tight end, like I feel like 8 or 9 would go. So no.
Okay, so you wouldn't take him as your. Would you take him as your starter, or are you more comfortable taking
not
like
even
a
t- I'm
like
not
a
even-
higher tier tight
Honestly,
end? and then
I'm not
taking
even
him
touching Hooper.
at all. Period.
Yeah, I
No.
kind of agree with Anthony.
Word.
The
Just asking.
more we get closer to the draft season, I think I'm fading.
Hooper.
I have, I always talk about like a do not draft list.
Yeah.
Just kind of certain players I'll just personally I don't like, so I try to avoid them.
For
I'll just
sure.
avoid him. I think there's other players who are going to get more targets and more
sure.
pass happy offenses. So yeah, I'll be fading Hooper.
Yeah. And it's not the talent.
No, yeah,
To Dre's
just-
point, it's literally not the talent.
sake of sakeness, some people might.
So Hooper, when you come on this episode, this show, we know we it's not the talent.
it's
Just
just
to say, hey, you got paid.
yeah, for sure. We did. Let me get some of that.
It's not the talent.
Got him.
I couldn't agree more. Tight end 6. Ready? I'll start. Yep. Not drafting him. There you go. Okay.
That was like 1.8. That's pretty good.
See, I don't know who's faster.
I control the time.
How did Hooper get so open against the Jags right there? Doesn't matter.
Nice.
Deplete.
It was
Okay.
in Europe.
All right.
That's
Next.
true. They were fucking sleeping.
You
They
know
were
who we have
declining.
next?
I'm gonna guess.
Uh-oh.
Someone who looks like Devontae Parker.
He is the white
We
Devontae
got
Parker.
Mike Gesicki. Finished 2019 as the tight end 11. This is half point PPR format,
tough
correct?
Yes, half point.
I should have said that earlier.
But he's still good at solid though, or as a standard. He's still good.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
playing the game with
Yeah.
that point.
All right. Who's going? Dre, you first? Wait. No, I'll switch it up.
We'll let Tyler go first.
Yeah, Tyler, you go
I'll
first.
go.
6, so go.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll say repeat. to at least get to that tight end 11 spot. I actually do like Gesicki a lot more than that. I think he could emerge in his third year in the league. I think people sleep on Gesicki. He's not really a tight end. He's more of an oversized wide receiver. I mean, 6'5", runs a 4.5 40, has a 41-inch vertical. So he's just a big body guy. I think he's a sleeper, or not even a sleeper. I think he's the favorite in my eyes to lead the Dolphins in receiving touchdowns. And if you can get 6, 7, 8 touchdowns as a tight end, that'll put you top 10.
Done.
Okay,
God,
that was good.
That was good. That was good.
In one breath.
I don't think.
Dude,
someone spray him in between rounds. Hit him with the fucking.
I like the timer. I feel like it adds
Flatten
a
his
little bit to
fucking
it.
face.
Give me a cut man.
God damn, that was good. Get his cut man in here, seriously. All right, you want to go, Mac, or you want me to go?
I feel like this is good, like speaking exercise right now. Honestly. All right, ready?
You go, Dre.
All right, ready? Go. Well, the one thing I agree with everything T said, and on top of what he said last episode, he is like more of like an Eric Decker, as far as like T said, as far as being stretching the seams. He is a tight end. He's going to be more in line, stretching the field, matching up with like those linebackers. He's too fast for a linebacker, too big for a safety. If you can just catch him in stride and just be accurate within his like catch span or whatever the fuck, he'll be good. Touchdowns. Done.
I like how he finished that with the word touchdowns.
Done. I was looking for
good.
wingspan.
I'm
I
not-
said catch span,
I'm
but it
not-
was wingspan.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, dude. Tight end 11.
Look at Fitzmagic. Yeah, he's a
He has
man.
no
That
neck.
fits no neck
He's
thing
a-
gets me every single
Dude.
time, dude.
How can
It's like
you not
someone's choking it. Good pass.
How can you not like play for the guy? Because if he talks shit, he'll outsmart you too. Because he went to Harvard, so he'll just like fuck you up in every realm of your life. So,
Yeah, 4.2.
Yeah, didn't he got the most?
Dude.
He got the best.
The one to like score.
Yeah, the
dude,
one
and he's made like $100 million as a quarterback. He had those good years with
From
the Jets.
every team.
Dude.
He's played, don't have to leave.
He's maximized his potential when he needed to. So,
Hey, whether you like Tanner or not, he's made over 100 million.
dude, I fuck with Fitzmagic.
I fuck with Tannehill.
All right, here we go.
All right, hey Mac.
Hey, Mac, ready, go.
I'm gonna go repeat. I've talked about the negatives and the positives. I'm gonna assume some growth, and if you assume some growth, it's gonna be above tight end 11. I have him ranked tight end 10. If he exceeds expectations, it's gonna be above 11. So,
Yeah.
plain and simple. Was there negatives? I brought them out in the last episode. You want to catch that? Go back to episode before this and to see the negatives. But there's a lot of positives too as well. So, I'm assuming some growth. Repeat.
Nice.
Done.
Very good.
All right, Mike.
strolling
All
along.
right, Mike, it's on you, dude.
Uh,
He's like, fuck the Steelers. Ebron, Vance McDonald are better, and go.
no, I actually don't. I don't have them up there. But I mean, I'm kind of with you guys. All right, ready. Yeah, I agree. Repeat. Tight end 11 kind of came out of nowhere from last year, but I do think that within the Dolphins offense, yeah, I don't know. Mike Gesicki, I think could go up from tight end 11. A lot of opportunity there.
For sure.
I don't know.
No, I mean, we already spoke, so I mean, you're trying not to be redundant. So
Right.
for sure, I feel you.
Yeah.
But I mean, the talent's there. He ended strong, which is always what you want from any player, whether it's a running back, a tight end, or a wide receiver. He ended good, and Fitzmagic likes him, and he's going to be the guy next year. So
He is magic.
he fucking has head and shoulders, bro. He does his thing. So
Like Palomalo.
Because I could get up and.
so fuck it. I like it.
I wonder if it's how he talks. Hey, Mike.
When he wore all those chains for Deshaun, that interview with the Eagles,
Oh, that's legit.
dude, whatever the fuck
came
was
out-
it? Were they? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Legit.
He's like the McGregor of football.
Next guy.
Yeah, he's
All right,
repeat or deplete.
repeat or deplete. We got Darren Waller finishes tight end 3. Whoa, that is up there, huh, guys?
That's up there.
All right, who wants to go first? I'm about to click the button.
I'll go first on this one.
All right, start Darren
Go.
Waller.
3. That's tough. I mean, for the sake, I have to say deplete because I have him at 4. Like I've been saying, I think he's going to be more of a touchdown person this year as opposed to last year where he was more of like a PPR yard machine. I think it'll balance out this year. Less catches, less yards, more touchdowns. I think the offense takes a step forward. Shout out to my guy Art. He's here. We're in the building. Cut it.
Yeah,
30 seconds. Let's go.
I don't know if anybody who's watching knows this, but hey,
Shut it up.
hey, AVG Fantasy Football Podcast is recorded in front of a live audience every single day.
Yes.
Sorry, Art. I couldn't answer. We were live.
Dude, we're like friends.
All right, here we go.
But we are friends.
All right.
All right, I'll go.
That was Waller. Go ahead, A-Mac.
All right, go ahead.
Deplete. I just think the target volume isn't going to be as high as it was last year, but I do think there is some touchdown. It's like the happy medium. Like touchdowns are going to go up, volume's going to go down. But you don't see as many tight ends who are athletic as he is.
Yeah.
Straight up. I was watching some film today, and
Yeah,
I
we're
was
talking.
actually like impressed. I was like, damn, like, this
Yeah,
motherfucker, he no joke.
Yeah, we talked.
Like
we
he's
talked.
like, and he had
Easy.
2 ankle touchdowns that were like he could easily had 5 touchdowns, where the guy just slapped his ankle at the last second. So I'm gonna go Deplete, but he's someone I might be targeting low key.
Very good, very good.
30
God,
seconds.
You guys are doing great on this timer thing here.
It's fucking...
All right.
If you guys don't know, Mike
I'll
actually
say-
Mike threatened us.
I'll say Deplete as well. I think tight end 3 is pretty high. I think that was his ceiling, and I don't think he's going to get there. If you listen to the tight end rankings episode, I kind of broke it down how the last 2 years the tight ends in Oakland had 100+ targets, but there's been no receiver to eclipse 90 or more targets or over 750 receiving yards. So I think now with getting Ruggs, Limbaugh, and a couple of these other players in the draft, I think that the ball will be spread around a lot more, which will take away from his volume and opportunity. So Deplete.
Dude, you know what? That's really messed up because that's what I was about to say.
Art,
I know it
you're-
sounds like I'm lying, but I swear to God.
Dude.
we
Art,
were talking
how many
about that
catches does Waller get? Don't turn around. Don't look. One number. No, just no, a number. Oh, this fucking motherfucker.
Yes.
I didn't tell you this fucking. Oh,
Hey.
what you got? What do you pay this guy?
I'm a follower. I watch.
I said, give me a number, and he said under 70.
I've
This
been
fucking
texting Dre, and I'm like, bro, like I have him
Be
statted.
like a 68.
That's
told
what I
him-
said. I'm
no,
like-
I said, hey, Mac, you have him at
Art's here, dog.
69.87.
Because I have him statted for like 90 to 100 targets, so you got to do the catch percentage, and it's like, bro, it is
He's
right.
76%.
It is
He's
right
right
there.
there.
It
He's
is
right
right
there.
there. I think it might go down a little bit, but even still, it's right there.
Yeah.
And if Henry Ruggs is really is hurt, that's gonna be weird. Shit's gonna get weird.
I mean, he balled. I watched him I was watching some film on him today. It's like,
He gets separation.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I know we're trying to keep it under 30 seconds
No,
and
you
stuff,
get
but
it. It's
what
okay.
if
We can recap a little bit.
Okay, we kind of said last year, with the whole Tannehill and Mariota thing, we kind of predicted that Tannehill would take over that starting job.
Yeah.
I'm kind of seeing we know what goes around comes around almost from
History-
Mariota.
history
Where
repeating
now
itself.
he kind of comes in and he takes the job from Derek Carr. I mean, I know Mike Mayak's the GM there now in Oakland, and when he was still doing the draft analysis
there.
and whatnot, he
it was one
he
of
actually said that he would have rather picked Mariota 1 overall instead of Jameis Winston. So he was his number 1 quarterback on the board, not Jameis Winston. So what if 5-6 games through the season they do switch to Mariota? Do you think that hurts Waller's ability? Do you think it boosts his ability?
tendency wise, I think a potential boost because we've seen him deal with Delaney.
Yeah.
And he relied on the veteran who was open on a consistent basis. We don't know if Ruggs can get open yet. We don't know if any of these guys are going to do like.
I hope Brian Edwards is my guy, but yes, you're right.
And I've said it to this point. It might be you could be right in the sense of like, could it be a bust in 2 years? Yes, but I think this year he could easily be their best receiver still.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like even with Mariota, we have seen Mariota lean on Delaney Walker in the past. So it's like we have some tendencies to lean on, and the system, it did to the extent of like, okay, as Waller, was he the only guy to Andre's point, was he the only guy that they could guard? Yes, and he fucking showed up.
Yeah.
Now you have more guys to guard. So what does that do to Waller's efficiency? I don't think it makes it much worse.
Yeah.
So it's like even if he sees 90 targets, I think he's going to be efficient on those 90 targets. And even if Mariota comes in, and we've seen Mariota lean on a tight end, so I'm not too worried about it yet. I actually think the Raiders low-key could be a little surprising as far as like the offensive points go. They were like 8-8 last year, or 7-9.
Yeah,
I
they were,
think.
and they were actually in position until they lost to the Jets. Like they had they were set up to like do
Their
their
last,
thing. So
their
yeah,
last Oakland game.
And they just got more explosive on offense.
Yeah,
Whether we
for
like
sure.
the draft picks or not, they did get more explosive,
for sure.
and that's going to only help Waller in the long run.
I agree. I think the way Gruden likes to do his offense, because he's such a big quarterback guy, I think he likes to like simplify what it is like the quarterback has to do. Obviously, they have to do their reads and do all that, but I feel like Gruden is such a big QB guy that he tries to make it as simple as he can for them, on top of like trying to challenge them. So, you still got to go through your reads and do all of that, but Gruden is a QB guy. So if he brings you in, he obviously likes you. So that's why, like you're saying, it wouldn't surprise me if Mariota took over, because he is fucking an athlete still, and he's still a young guy. And on top of that, he can cover up, like, let's just say the O-line isn't good. He can make up for their deficiencies because he's a lot more mobile than Derek Carr is, So he can kind of run around and sometimes you just need a breath of fresh air, dude. Maybe him playing, you never know, dude. He can ball just like Tannehill did, you know. So I'm kind of excited for the Raiders, even if it's not Carr and it's Mariota. Like, I think they're both be good because I mean, tight ends are usually safety blankets, and we've been watching. I mean, you can motion Waller outside of in line and put him out to the seam, and he's still gonna win.
Listen.
So
it could happen. The Angels could win the pennant.
Hey, it could happen. It could happen.
The Angels could win.
Yeah, I was
the
just
pennant.
curious about that. We could jump to the next guy though, right here.
Yeah, we got Noah Fant. This is Andre's boy. We used to make jokes last year because Andre wouldn't stop talking about him, so we used to call him Noah Can't.
Noah Can't.
And then Noah
he couldn't
surprised us towards the end of the season because it seems like he kind of came back. Noah Fant finished tight end 16 in 2019. Not to confuse you, but in 2019 he finished as tight end number 16. What do you guys think? Repeat or deplete?
I'll go second.
I'll go first. I'll just keep it short, sweet, and simple. I'll say repeat. I think this offense is going to be really exciting to watch. I'm not sure how good this defense is going to be. It's definitely not the same Denver Broncos defense of the past when they were going to the Super Bowls. I think Drew Lock is a sleeper to throw for 4,500 yards. They got a lot of weapons there. So, yeah, I'm going to say repeat because I think this offense is going to be one of the better ones.
All right. Done.
All right, first up it says, deplete, right?
I said
I said
repeat.
Repeat, excuse me.
All right. I'll go. I'll go. You can hit start whenever you want.
All right, here we go.
Boom. I'm going to say repeat plus. So I'm a big, like I was alluding to last episode, I'm a big yards per catch or yards per target for tight ends, especially if you're explosive. So 2 of his last 4 games, he averaged 28 yards per catch. Not even per target, per catch. 2 of his last 4 games, and he got at least 2 targets in each of those games. One of those, he got 4 catches, 113 yards, explosive. I like it. Stretches the seam. Fuck with your boy.
I love at the end of every time Jay goes, he says like one last word: explosive.
Touchdowns.
Touchdowns.
Hey,
Fuck with your boy. Hey, at least I didn't go 30 more seconds.
Okay, all right, ready, Anthony?
I'm gonna go repeat. I think the target volume might be similar, but he has a nice floor. So it's like he's someone I know is gonna see targets. We get into some of these guys, I know they're not gonna see targets to some extent. Like I would take him over Austin Hooper, who went over earlier. 16 is too low for me. I just think the upside's too high.
Yeah.
So repeat.
Very good.
Mike, what do you got?
And here we go. I'm going to say a repeat just for the simple fact that I think Drew Lock is just getting started. I actually think that they're kind of building around him. They kind of are drafting guys that will possibly help Drew Lock, and I think that offense is just going to be a lot better.
For sure.
I feel bad for people who are Broncos fans. I feel like that division just
It's tough.
You're now it's like the Dolphins having to play the Patriots every year.
and
I
they
feel
did
like
good.
it's like the new saga of that.
He said the new saga.
You know what I mean?
For sure. No, for sure.
And maybe Noah Fant's the key to unlocking Drew Lock.
Yeah, I mean, he's a. I looked. He had 66 targets, 40 catches. So I mean, but how many of those were after Drew Lock? Because I mean, the 5 games Drew Lock played, they went 4-1. So they finished really strong, which I think is why they didn't get another quarterback. I think they thought they're like, you know what, we found our guy, you know. And then they went ahead and drafted Albert O, which is one of his old teammates. You know, just to make him feel comfortable. And then they went and loaded up with all these offensive weapons. So it looks like they're going all in on Lock. As far from a offensive standpoint, getting Melvin Gordon also. So, and you know me, I've been talking shit about the Broncos. Their offense was boring as fuck. So, you know, they did their thing.
All right, here we go. We talked a lot about this guy last time. We got Tyler Higbee, plays for the Los Angeles Rams. Surprisingly, we used to also make the joke that the Rams who's the Rams tight end when we would talk about games, and we'd be like,
I saw that
was an
video.
aggressive
I saw the
but-
video last night. I was laughing.
yeah, check on that Audio Technica, bro.
That shit was
mic's
funny,
broken.
man.
Yeah, but we used to
Mic check.
make the joke. We used to make the joke that Rams didn't have a tight end, but they had kind of 2 fantasy relevant ones last year. Tyler Higbee finished 2019 as tight end number 8 in half-point PPR leagues. Repeat or deplete? Who's going first? Hit the buzzer.
Oh, that's one of the most dicey.
T, who had on the
It
highest?
is.
Who
It
had
is
on
a
the
hard.
highest?
It is a hard.
Fuck it, I'll go first. I'll go
All right,
first.
all right, ready, go.
Yeah, Tyler Higbee.
What was
talked
his
about it
finish?
earlier.
Tight end what?
Tight end 8.
8. So, like I was talking about earlier, he did have a really strong finish to end the season. Although he was a bit of a target monster as far as getting, like 8 or 9 targets a game. I don't think that'll hold up. But I think he did show that he has a talent as far as like being like an inline every play tight end, so where he can supersede Gerald Everett. So he's like one of those like sleeper tight ends that can help you win your league. Baller, done. Bing. Yeah.
You're on it, dude.
Dude.
You're on it like phonics.
Dude, I hit him up today.
right,
He
who's
hit me back.
I'll go next.
All right, ready, go.
I'm gonna go repeat, but with this said, he could be one of the most boom or bust tight ends in the draft.
For sure.
So with that said, can he finish tight end 8? Yes, because he might have weeks where he does see 14 targets and gets 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that makes him tight end alone almost in that week alone.
Win you a game.
Yeah. So with that said, it's like I don't know if we're gonna see the same consistency. I don't think we're gonna see the same consistency we saw last year in targets, but the upside is there. I love taking the chance on the upside as tight end 8. Downside's there too, but I'll take a shot on it.
For sure.
Very good.
Yeah. Because
right.
he killed it.
Your boy T.
My boy T.
Listen, I like his name, but I'm gonna have to go Deplete. I just don't think the 5-game sample size is enough to justify his whole career of like him being good in 5 games in his whole 6-year career or whatever it is. He's not gonna outpace Cooper Kupp in targets. Like I was telling you, Mike, off air, like it's almost like they weren't really defenses weren't really game planning for Higbee because they're like, oh, like we're not going to game plan for this tight end. He's nobody. Obviously, he went out and did that, but I'm willing to make a beer bet that he won't get one single game with double-digit targets all year long.
I'll beer bet that.
All right,
I'll double beer bet
Hey, clip that shit, bruh.
clip it.
Not one game?
Not one game where he gets 10 or more targets.
that. Okay, off the tight end subject, how are you feeling about Cooper Kupp though? Because I know you've been like probably the most like supportive of him. Are you a little? I said I've been skeptical on him. Are you a little skeptical on like the offense changing? Like, just as a kind of like what's like just quick little tip.
Yeah, we have time. Yeah, for
How
sure.
you feeling about Cooper Kupp?
I'm not necessarily sure the offense is going to change. I think their offense was based of the center point of Gurley, and when Gurley wasn't Gurley last year, obviously, like you can't. It's like your engine's not running at all cylinders, so obviously other parts of the car are going to start breaking down in a sense. So now you go out, you get Cam Akers. Like like you're saying, Anthony, you're the one who kind of really showed me when the tight ends running back correlations. How if the running back gets more, the tight ends usually don't. I mean, last year the tight end position got 156 targets when the previous 2 years it was only like 90, and the running backs were getting a lot of targets. I mean, I'm not necessarily sure this offense changes. I still think Cooper Kupp is Goff's go-to guy. I mean, is he going to be a top 12 receiver? I mean, potentially. I still think Woods and Cooper Kupp finish in the top 20 in terms of wide receivers. I just can't imagine a scenario where, they're really focusing on getting Higbee the ball and not Cooper Kupp. I mean, like I said, this whole offense was in just disarray. Brandon Cooks was hurt for a lot of the year. Gurley wasn't himself. I mean, Goff kind of was just like, in terms of like passer rating, I know he wasn't the most efficient last year either. So they kind of had like that Super Bowl hangover in a sense.
Yeah, it was a little bit more to the Cooper Kupp point than to the Higbee point. Because like I said, I've been burying Cooper Kupp like slowly but surely. I'm just worried about him. So I just want to know how you felt, but we can go on to the next one.
You should write him a letter.
I'm worried about you.
Dear Cooper Kupp,
Hey, dear
I'm
Coop.
concerned.
Hey, actually, I call him Coop.
I will say, I just read that Robert Woods versus man coverage last year was 134.3 QB rating. Number 1 in the NFL.
And I went on Matt Harmon's reception perception and for like digging into Cooper Kupp's. It's not pretty on his man coverage.
Yeah, no, that's why I was looking. I mean, they had Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill, but that was skewed because they just run around the fucking field in motion and then they get lined up with linebackers and then Mahomes throws.
Ultimately I think if Cooper Kupp can take a step up against man and be on the outside, or
Help the
Van
whole
Jefferson
team.
or Josh Reynolds can make a step up, I think Tyler Higbee will be a bust. If they can't do it, Tyler Higbee is going to be a steal.
Because he's athletic. Tyler
And
Higbee's
it's a
athletic
guessing
guy.
game. He's like literally the most guessing game tight end out of all of them.
Yeah.
So it comes down to like draft price for me. Like I won't take a chance on him in the top 7 rounds.
Yeah.
But if he falls 8 or 9, your boy's taking sniper shots.
And you always have those people that'll take 2 tight ends in the top 8. Like,
Yeah.
I'll take a Kelsey and a Higbee and trade one. It's like,
Because realistically speaking, like when we get in the 8th round, like this is not even tight end speaking. It's like take your shots. When you have your starters, like I kind of preach this a lot. Is like start taking some shots.
you have to.
Like
You gotta
don't take
a
like
risk.
the Jordan Howards of like, oh yeah, he's gonna get me 10 points a game. Start taking some shots on players that are gonna be like kind of weak winning
league
types.
winners.
Yeah,
winners.
so that's where it's like, okay, if I can get this guy or any kind of player in the 8th, 9th round,
Yeah, I think I got Chris Godwin maybe like 7th round.
possibly, because he was going
Yeah.
5th through 7th. All right, next guy.
Art's in the pool. Hey, yeah,
All right, we got Jared Cook.
I feel like it's an
Listen,
art guy.
Jared Cook killed it with
Yeah,
the
so downstairs,
Raiders last year with the Saints. He actually finished.
All right, so Jared Cook, he is
Jared
one of
Cook,
the
I finished-
aliens from Men in Black. Here, I'll go first. Ready?
Wait.
What do you mean?
I was gonna. Yeah, you didn't even hear what he
Let
finished.
Mike
as.
finish the statement, bro.
Yeah, he was tight end.
Yeah,
fucking-
repeat or deplete. What do you think?
What was his finish?
He was tight end 9, right?
It's tight end 7.
7? Deplete, dude. Good.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go deplete. I'm gonna say that other than everything going on, I just think that there's a lot of tight ends that are taking a step forward. So it's not really a disrespect to him as far as his talent. I just think that offenses and other younger tight ends are gonna make that leap forward to like kind of supersede him. And he's one of those guys that's like boomer bust as it is. So I would rather take consistency from other tight ends before I fuck with Jared Cook. I fuck with him. He's my guy. Men in Black. Watch the movie.
The way that Dre finishes his
Well,
is so.
It's
funny.
like mic drops.
They really are. Okay.
You see the movie?
Who's
I'll
next?
go, I guess.
Okay. All right.
30
Ready?
seconds. Go.
I'm gonna go deplete. To Dre's point, I don't want to see a tight end who has 2 targets, 3 targets, 2 targets, 4 targets. That was a lot of Jared Cook. Can it happen in touchdowns to Drew Brees? Be consistent? Yes. But do I want to bank on that? No. So he's someone I'm probably officially ranking. I might rank him at like 9, 10. Drafting him probably 15, 16.
For sure. Done.
Wow. What a statement. There you are.
He's like, Jared Cook, listen,
All right.
I'm not fucking with you right now.
Okay. How about Tyler? Where you?
We literally
I'll
just talked
go-
about Higbee.
I'll go deplete. He had 9 receiving touchdowns last year. That was second most for tight ends. And even with the 9 receiving touchdowns, he only finished as, I say only, but he finished as the tight end 7. I'm not sure if he can get back to 9 receiving touchdowns. Kamara was not Kamara last year. Normally that guy's getting double-digit touchdowns, 12 plus every year. I think he only finished with like 7 or something there, 6 or 7.
six
on
on
the
the
ground.
ground.
6 on the ground.
I'm expecting Kamara to get double-digit touchdowns again as well. Michael Thomas is going to get his, but then now you enter Manuel Sanders,
Your boy.
Man Crush Manny.
Drop that shit.
A lot of mic drops.
Do you really you have a man crush on Manny again?
Dude, that's his boy. What do you mean?
And Loki, he was an Omni on the back of the well. He had a
T-Rev-
nice ass chain.
T-Rev.
That's what a gold ass chain. I was like,
and he's part Hispanic, bro. Like, he's a man.
he came back. I was like, who's this motherfucker? The fucking,
And he tore his Achilles and came back.
he had
in
like this
8
diamond
months.
ass gold chain on. And I was like, I was like,
Do you remember
who's
that year him and Antonio Brown made that
you
bet?
told your
Who would
story.
have more yards? Obviously, Antonio Brown won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, but who's laughing now?
All right. Beetlejuice.
That's Jared Cook.
Did everybody go?
Yep.
Yeah, you're up, Mike.
Where are we at?
Beetlejuice.
I'm gonna say deplete. Listen, dude.
Dude, done.
Don't be
Fucking
pressuring me over
Listen,
here.
bro.
All right.
Hey,
All
hit
right.
start.
I'm
hit
on the
deplete,
ones and
hit
twos.
finish.
Jared
Big
Cook
O.
finished above tight end 7 or no? No. So we got another deplete.
deplete.
Art says deeply.
The live audience said deeply.
Live audience.
We literally have a live person here, and he said, "Fuck that."
And he's a Jared Cook fan. I like says oldies.
Hey, honestly, he had a concussion against the Niners. It just goes to show
He's
you.
targeting Larry Fitz.
No, I'm targeting AP all day, every day.
AP.
Adrian Peterson.
Fifth round.
Fifth round.
Fifth round.
All right. Next guy we got Dallas Goedert from the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas Goedert finished as tight end 10 in 2019.
Good for him. Good
You,
season.
did you write these stats right?
Yep.
Okay. Tyler.
I'll go. I will say
Yes, master. Okay.
tight end 10, Dallas Goedert. I will say deplete. I feel like he finished tight end 10, and that was with no weapons there in Philadelphia. I mean, Zach Ertz is still the main tight end there, but you go out and get a healthy Elshon. Deshaun Jackson should come back. You get Jalen Reagor, a couple of the rookies that are coming in there. Miles Sanders obviously is going to be more incorporated in the passing game as well. So, and then like kind of what Dre touched on with Jared Cook or one of the other tight ends. There's all these younger tight ends coming up that I think could surpass him. More volume.
Hey, Mac, you want me to go? You want me? You want to
go
go
first.
All right, I'll go. You ready?
Yeah, that's ready.
Dude, fuck it. Let's do it. All right, Goddard. Am I on the? Oh shit, I'm on the clock. Yeah. I mean, he had 87 targets, 58 catches. I felt like he was more of a snake. He was like Zach Ertz was just like lining up on the field. He's like, "Fuck, Goddard's out here. He's about to take my touchdown." which he did because he had 5 touchdowns for only 58 catches. But like we said, I mean, they drafted 3 wide receivers. You got a healthy Deshaun Jackson. Alshon should be coming back. Wentz is healthy, so I think it's going to be more of a receiver team.
Alshon's not coming back.
That was a good one. Not as mic droppy on that one.
I didn't have
but
to mic drop.
You know what? You got the information out there, and that is
Yeah.
what is important.
And you're right. Alshon might not come back, but I only had 30 seconds to talk. And you know what? He might not come back.
He's not.
He might not come back.
All right, ready, Anthony?
I'm gonna go repeat on the dot. Repeat. I think honestly, I'd be more excited if Miami still would have drafted Goedert over Gesicki. I've just seen a guy who's like he's a little bit more of a game breaker type of tight end. Alshon Jeffrey, Liz Frank surgery. He's not even ready for week 1. They're gonna go back to that 2 tight end set what they've been doing. Jalen Reagor's a rookie. I do see some upside in him, but he still has to prove himself. So who are these targets? Who are they going to? I like Wentz. I like the upside. So who am I gonna go towards? I think Goddard's gonna fucking do what he does. And yeah, I love Miles Sanders. But yeah, I'm gonna go repeat.
Yeah, no.
I like it.
I mean, Goddard, it's crazy because he is fucking good. It's just so crazy that he's on the Eagles.
I still wish we drafted Goddard over Mike Gesicki.
I'm surprised. I
was so mad.
Yeah,
I was
I'm surprised the Falcons didn't try to go and get Goddard from the fucking Eagles. You know, their only reason. Do you remember why they got Goddard? Because
Dallas.
Because Jason Witten retired, and they're like, these motherfuckers are about to get a tight end, and the Eagles are like, we'll get him anyways. They didn't even need him. They did it
they
just
had
to spite.
Ertz.
They did out of spite. Yeah.
Goddard will be interesting. Like once his rookie contract's up, I can't imagine like they're gonna pay him and Ertz
For sure.
Yeah.
If he goes to a team that needs a tight end,
He's
like,
gonna be a
Off
stud.
the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone.
If you're
but-
playing Dynasty, go after him.
it's like, yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah, Jacksonville, good spot.
Well, I
you know what I'm
I think they let
saying?
him.
Like,
I think
if
they
he
let
goes
Ertz
to
go.
another team, I think that he could be a really nice player.
I
Like
think they
St.
let
Dynasty.
Ertz go and keep
Yeah.
him.
You think so, really?
I think so.
I mean, maybe. I
Well,
mean,
'cause
it
what's the
depends on
contract-
what they want.
Well, what's the contract demand going to be from Ertz to Goddard? It's not going to be as high as what Ertz is going to demand to Goddard.
For sure, 100%.
I mean,
I
the
think they-
Cowboys will take his ass too. I mean,
And then Ertz will
Goddard's
be,
good,
Ertz will
bro.
probably be 29 at that point, 28. So it's like, who are you going to take? The 24-year-old who has like shown mean production, can block
For sure.
and catch?
For sure.
I think the Eagles are going to go Goddard. So if I'm in Dynasty, honestly, I don't play Dynasty too
He's
much. but
25.
He's someone I'm targeting.
He's
Dynasty
old.
tight end.
Hayden Hurst is a year older than him too, so it's like 25 years old. So he's going to be playing into his age 26 season. He's got plenty of years to go, especially knowing that Kelsey's going
And
to be
he's someone
30.
like where it's like I bring up the points of Gesicki like where he hasn't shown it. Like, dude, this guy's done it since college.
and
He's
he came
doing
from a
it.
small school.
He's doing it in the NFL.
He's a beast, and he's got the chip on his shoulder, proving it. I mean, yeah, I like Goddard. It's a shame that he's where he's at.
I'm going towarst Dynasty. Like I said, I would target him in Dynasty because I think
sure.
Ertz is gone.
Someone just traded actually in our league. Someone traded a first round, a second round, a first rounder, and Dallas Goedert for D Hop. And the dude took
Sounds
it.
like a lot for Diop.
Yeah, the dude took it though.
I tried to change the D-Hop today and they offered.
He D Hop is like one of the most valuable players you can get in Dynasty. And this was before the Cardinals trade, but yeah.
Exactly for the Cardinals trade too.
Yeah. Good next, Mike. Oh wait,
All
Mike,
right,
you go.
yeah. I'm gonna say Deplete. I
Deplete?
think I'm kind of on the same page. Was it you, Tyler, that said?
Yeah.
There's a lot of weapons coming back. Drafted Jalen Reagor, all that. I think, yeah, Deplete. You don't know what's going on with the offense. Carson Wentz gets hurt. Yeah.
You never know.
Exactly.
I'll bring up something off on Alshon. So I did listen to it was Liz Frank surgery, which Liz Frank was it?
Yeah,
Alshon?
which is a plantar fasciitis.
And I was listening to someone talk about how how defective they are off of plantar fasciitis, and it was like double eyebrow raising.
because he's big.
It wasn't
He's a
even
big
like
guy.
one eyebrow raising, and he's not a separator.
No,
he's
a
like
big
more of
guy.
like a Devontae Parker type, where it's like I'll body you and
It
catch
reminds
it.
you of Devontae Parker.
Yeah, well, he just it's a, yeah he does. He's that receiver type where like I'll body you and I'll catch you, but he can't.
No.
I think Alshon Jeffrey is probably done.
No, for sure.
So
It could
it's
be a
like-
real possibility for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
I
that guy
tell
just can't
people-
seem to stay
Listening to,
healthy,
like,
man.
like someone
Talented
like-
guy, but he just can't seem to stay healthy.
Well, think
And
about
listen
it
to
this
someone
way.
talk about the medical standpoint of it. We could probably talk to Colby on this, like our medical
Yeah.
medical
medicine
guy
man.
about this.
Consigliere.
Medical consigliere. But it was really like eyebrow raising about like what it does to like the long term. Like I think it was almost like a 40% decrease in production. Like it was something crazy.
No, it's bad. So
It's bad.
The two players that I specifically remember getting Liz Frank, one was Darren McFadden, who never came back from it after his really
After that monster year.
after that monster year. And then the next player was Santonio Holmes. He had one when he was on the Jets. He had that Liz Frank. At the time, it was called plantar fasciitis. But I still remember the play. They were playing the Niners. He literally got tackled and got hit so bad he literally threw the ball backwards. it almost looked like he handed it to the guy. But after he got hurt from that, it was that's what it was called. It was Liz Frank. He was never the same.
I'm kind of assuming Alshon's gone from this offense
so
as far as injury wise.
It is one of those things, and I mean, it is bad because it's on the base of your foot. So when you're a big guy like Alshon, who I mean, it's a planning thing when you're a wide receiver. So when you're that big, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and a jumpy thing. So it's like take this with the Eagles offense and put it how you want. Could be better for Miles Sanders.
Yeah, for sure.
Could be better for the tight ends. Could be better for Jalen Reagor as a rookie. So it's like, but I'm just putting this out there so we know this is like,
for
hey,
sure.
like this is some serious information where I don't think Alshon's going to come back to any extent to where he was. Based off of like some history I've heard off of what the List Frank does to people.
Yeah, and it's not like Alshon hasn't already been hurt like 35 times
before
before.
that.
So
Yeah,
I
that guy
fucking
can't
hate
stay
him. I drafted him
healthy.
one
Yeah,
time
yeah.
this year in fantasy, and I'll never draft him again. So yeah,
Yeah.
fuck him.
Yeah, that was kind of like
Fuck.
non-tight end, but just like football.
I think we broke the fuck meter today. It's
all right.
It's
We're good.
okay.
Hey, we don't
right.
have meter.
So no, Alshon, I'm sorry,
I'm the
bro.
me-
I
I'm
fuck
the
with you,
meter
bro.
maid.
Alshon, you're done, bro.
All right,
You're
we
done.
got Hunter Henry finished in 2019 as tight end 9. Okay, right behind Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert finishes tight end 10. Repeat or deplete tight end 9 on the season. Where do you guys think for 2020? Where is he at?
Deeply. If anyone takes a beer bet, Dallas Goedert of Hunter Henry, I'll take it.
So you're saying deplete?
Deeply.
I started your timer.
I'm not liking what I've seen out of Herbert from a statistics standpoint. I don't like the Tyrod Taylor targets. I love Hunter Henry in the future. He might be someone I'm doing the same thing target in Dynasty, but this year, not touching any Hunter Henry.
What tight end?
Tight end 9.
Tight end 9. Yeah.
That's tough.
Okay. Who's going next?
He's out of my top 12, and I had him in there.
T, you want to go? You want me to go?
I know Tyler likes him.
I'll go deplete. I still think he's borderline top 12. I mean, like I said, it's kind of tough. Honestly, I'm not even going to act like I know what's going on over there because it's hard because you have Justin Herbert, you have Tyrod Taylor. Like, how many games does Tyrod Taylor play compared to Justin Herbert? Is it 5 games? Is it 2 games? Does Herbert come out right away and be the starter? And then you don't know. Is Herbert going to favor the tight end? Is he going to stretch the field a little bit more? Does he kind of lean on Mike Williams and Keenan Allen more? So he's one of the more trickier ones right there. A lot of question marks. I'm kind of a person where I don't like question marks, so I'm probably avoiding him. So I'll say deplete, but I still think top 10, top 12, like on the cusp.
I like it.
Yeah, sorry, just for a second. Personally, like you listen to us, like we all have our own opinions. You guys have your own opinions. Like we're here to help you guys. We want you to take our feeds and like have your own opinions still. If you ever have so many question marks about a player, that's almost like a red flag in general to like. There's so many questions about it's like a relationship in a sense. If you have so many questions about a relationship, like why would you go into that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like if you have those own questions about a player, that's someone where it's like I'd rather stay away from. So it's just like kind of you're like this is just me speaking out to fantasy players. If you hear us and you have your own question marks, it's like when there's so many questions to a point, it comes like it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Trey, you're on the clock.
All right, ready? Hit
Tag
that start
team.
button.
Wait,
Ready?
Hold on.
And go. I'm going to say deplete also. But once again, I go back to Charles Clay's stats. He had 74, 87, and 77 targets in the 3 years he was with Tyrod Taylor. So he's averaging about a little bit over 80 targets a game, a little bit over 500 yards a game, and, 3 or 4 touchdowns. So for a tight end, I'm still going to say deplete, but I think he's one of those guys that if you draft, he can exceed his ADP. So fuck with your boy. Fuck with Hunter Henry. We're done. We're there.
All right, ready? I'm going to say deplete for the same reasons. There's a lot of question marks in there, a lot of changing in the offense. But I'm willing to change that opinion based off of what we see in training camps. Obviously, we're kind of behind schedule with all that with the coronavirus thing, but it seems like we're getting back to regular football. And once it goes back, and I see all these things, I can adjust. But for right now, as we're standing right now with the offense, I'm going to say deplete.
It's actually pronounced COVID.
It's COVID.
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
The COVID.
I feel you. No, I mean
Hunter Henry.
He's a
Hunter
Hunter.
Henry finished
he's
tight
for
end
sure
9.
hitting Phillip Rivers like, fuck you. I hate you, Phillip Rivers. You shouldn't have left me.
He's another boom or bust tight
He's
end.
like, we
I
could
feel
have a
like
life together.
He could easily boom. He could easily bust. But it's not the talent. Same with Hooper. It's not the talent.
Yeah,
I feel like some of these tight
ends.
ends, it's like it's not the talent. It's just the situation and like what's
Situation,
around them and
scheme,
like
offensive
Yeah,
scheme
I mean,
and
look
it's
at-
like yeah.
A lot of people were actually
Look
saying
at,
if Tom Brady stayed with the Patriots, that he was like trying to get Hunter Henry as far as like, you know, to have himself a tight end. And if that was it just goes to show you landing spots in QBs. Because if Hunter Henry was with Brady, he would be
Yeah,
top
he'd be up
five.
there.
Yeah, it'd be like
So it just goes to show you that, you know,
Well, I mean, yeah, we
quarterbacks
saw
and
it
preferences.
we saw it with O.J. Howard last year.
Clearly.
Yeah, I mean,
Clearly.
it's like probably
He caught
the
it-
best / worst example.
He caught that hella good foul ball at the Bucks game or at the Tampa Bay Rays game. He was balling.
All right, ready? Next one we got here. This is Kyle Rudolph, the Minnesota Vikings. We've made a lot of jokes about Kyle Rudolph. I can't even remember exactly what we said. We've talked some trash about Kyle Rudolph, but then he showed up and
Dude, I like
did a
Rudolph
couple-
for red number.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Hey, he won me a bet one time on prop bet. It was
Yeah.
like, who will score the first touchdown? 20-1.
oh yeah, I remember
Kyle
that. It's during the playoffs. I think maybe not. I don't know.
It wasn't.
Okay, regular season. There we go. Kyle Rudolph finished 2019 as tight end 14. Who's going first? Hit the buzzer.
I'll go first on this
Go
one.
ahead, T. Go
Oh,
ahead, T.
Tyler's going first.
Go ahead, T.
I'll say Deplete. Just like a lot of other tight ends. I mean, you have Irv Smith Jr. over there, the second-year tight end out of Alabama. I think he kind of emerges. And we, you know, Kyle Rudolph wasn't doing much the first half of the season. We kind of really saw him emerge once like Thielen was out. You know, there's a lot of stats. You know, when Thielen was out, then that's when he was kind of like he picked up the pace and was getting some touchdowns. They go out and they get Justin Jefferson, so you'll have a second competent wide receiver opposite of Thielen with Irv Smith. I just don't like the upside right there. He's like the fourth or fifth option in this passing attack.
Done.
Very good.
I'll go ahead and go.
All right, ready?
Same. I'm gonna say Deplete too. I think he's a target. He's more of like a touchdown monster. So I looked at his last 5 seasons. He's had 25 touchdowns in his. Or sorry, 4 seasons. In his last 4 years, he's had 25 touchdowns. So he's more of a touchdown dependent type of player. And now, I mean, you've heard us talking about on the podcast. Irv Smith Jr. is coming in. They have other weapons. I just feel like he's 30 years old. He's in his 9th year in the league. I just feel like it's his time. Like there's other people coming in. So, you know, Deplete.
All right.
No mic drop.
30 seconds are done. Dre finished. He says Deplete.
I'm gonna go Deplete. Go ahead, start it.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go Deplete, but I will make the case for how he can do it. Jefferson doesn't. He's a rookie. We don't know what he's gonna do. Irv Smith still developing. You know, this is a Vikings team where I honestly think they could struggle a little bit more than teams think and have to pass more than they need to. I'm gonna go Deplete, but
sure.
if he is the starter and Jefferson struggles, and he could be the number 2, 3,
Two, yeah.
2,
Safety
3,
blanket.
and the red zone option because Thielen does struggle a little bit against man, and we don't know what Jefferson's gonna do. So there is a case for that. But I'm going Deplete.
And we saw in the play, was it the playoffs where he had that nasty ass one-handed catch? Like he is athletic. Like it's not like he's like a fucking like a big dude who can't move. He can get it done out there. It's just they have other options and the way their offense is. I mean,
I will make the argument though for tight ends, he is a little bit stiffer than other tight ends.
yeah.
That's all.
And dude, and he's 30.
But he does. But to your point though, he can make some athletic
Dude,
moves.
dude.
But if you're gonna compare him to other tight ends, I would say he's one of the more stiff ones. That could be with his age or whatnot.
dude, guess how many touchdowns he has in his career?
37.
Dude, he's got like 48 fucking touchdowns. I'm looking at his career right now.
a lot of touchdowns.
Dude, that's a lot of
I
touchdowns.
feel like my guess was not that far off.
So he's got 10,
Only
18, 25, 30,
What was your guess at?
35,
48.
40.
Oh damn, you got it right on the
Dude,
dot.
he's in the 40s. Yeah, dude. He's been in the league 9 years. So he's one of those guys who is not like crazy athletic, but dude just scores. And he's
just there when they need
well,
it,
he's
you
like
know?
he's a product of his environment. Like he's like, listen, you got Diggs, you got Thielen, you got these guys. Like, let me just slide in here, hit my tight end corner, let me slide out and get my touchdowns. He can catch. I mean, his best year, his second year in the league, he had 9 touchdowns.
He is a good red zone weapon for that
sure,
offense.
For sure. He's just a big body. So it's like 6'6", 260. That's a big fucking dude, man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, especially saying this.
you know what I would classify him as? I wouldn't put him as like a starter, but he's one of those guys. Like if I had like multiple bye weeks, because I've been looking up like week 9. I know is one of those weeks where there's like 5 or 6 bye weeks. If you go and look right now, like if you look at your players, I don't know if you're in Dynasty, but week 9 and 10 or 8, 9, 10, it's like a fucking massive bye week, like huge. There's like a lot of players. that are on buys. So Kyle Rudolph is one of those guys. Whether it's like I said, dynasty, he could be a free agent, but he's one of those guys that you can use as a filler spot because dude still scores.
Most likely he will be available.
Yeah.
He has a decent range of outcomes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I brought up the positives.
I faced him in a dynasty championship against PD, and that's when he caught that fucking Hail Mary touchdown. Kyle Rudolph got 40 points.
Yeah.
He's
one game.
He's a waiver wire
I'm
item.
gonna go back and look. It's ridiculous.
Him or Irv Smith is a waiver wire item. Like you're not drafting these guys, but like I said, the point I brought up, if that does happen, or like the outside receivers are struggling, you have rookies developing,
9 for
keep
9.
an eye on him or Irv Smith.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Keep an eye on him. Stay focused here, guys. All right, Greg Olson.
Yeah, I'm just
playing
going
for
to
the Greg Olson's playing for the Seattle Seahawks now, no longer with the Panthers. Last year with the Panthers, he finished at tight end 13 on a completely new offense, completely new team. Pete Carroll's in charge. What does Greg Olson do? Repeat or deplete from tight end 13 last year? Ready? Who's going?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go deplete. There's just a lot of mouths on the tight end position. They drafted. I didn't even realize this till we talked about it. Jim, like I looked at like the tight end situation. They drafted a 4th round tight end, and they just signed him too. I don't think Hollister or Disley is gonna fully go away. It's kind of a committee to me. I just don't want to commit to a committee at tight end, which is like that's the last position I want to commit to a committee. So is a touchdown upside there? Yes, I will admit that, but I'm not going to admit to tight end 3, so deplete.
All right.
Wow, right on the money.
I'll go.
Right on the money.
Mine's going to be quick, so ready?
All right,
I'm going to say.
ready?
Yep, ready.
Go.
Bing. I'm going to say deplete.
Bing.
I'm looking at Disley. Before he got hurt, was it a ruptured Achilles, whatever? He had 23 catches on 27 targets, which is fucking really good, for 262 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he looks like his catch radius is good. He seems to catch things that are thrown his way. He's a big boy. He's only 23 years old still, so I'm going to go deplete on that because I think Will Disley, because he's a big boy and he's more of an inline blocker, so that's my guy.
To the upside of Olson, if we get there, that could be a Wilson thing because Wilson fucking is a monster.
Yeah.
He's a straight up
Dude.
Like I mean,
Dude's
I don't know
a
if
beast.
Tyler Lockett would be who would be without Wilson.
Yeah.
No,
100%. But we can let
Tyler
Tyler
Lockett?
go. Yeah, because he's good, but Wilson's
It makes him way
Wilson's
better.
a
Way
monster.
better.
Go
Way
ahead, Tyler.
better.
Yeah.
I'll go repeat. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, you'll hear us every week. We talk about how the tight end position in Seattle is a fantasy asset to your team. So
line.
I was actually looking at if you were to add Hollister's points and Disley's points. I know it's not going to be exactly accurate if you were to add those two tight ends together. But if you were to add their points together, obviously Disley got hurt after week 5 or whatever it was. They would have been a top 10 tight end. So I just think the receiving upside is through the roof. For touchdown upside, obviously, is through the roof with Olson right here. I'm going to go a little bit over. But I think that you don't go out and get a guy like Olson if you're comfortable with Disley and Hollister. Obviously, there's a reason why they went out and got Olson, because if Hollister and Disley were good, there's no need to go get a guy like Olson who's, I'm kind of saying a bad thing here now, but he's kind of on his tail end of his career. So to go out and get him, in their eyes of the Seattle Seahawks, he's better than Hollister. He's better than Disley. Yeah, maybe you go out and draft the guy, but he's the future. But who's the present? It's Greg Olson. And like I said, I like the touchdown upside. I don't know what it is. It seems like when they get close to the red zone, play action, Russell Wilson seems to find the tight ends in the end zone.
Well, the Seahawks are confusing because it's like, they just signed Carlos Hyde.
Carlos Hyde, yeah.
And it's like we don't know what's going on with Chris Carson's health. We don't know what's going on with like these other tight ends' health. I mean, are you kind of like let's talk about situation for a second. Like if all tight ends are healthy, are you downgrading Greg Olson? Like if we go into the season, we know Will Disley, Hollister, and the rookie are all going to be involved. Are you downgrading him? Or if it's like, hey, we know 2 are unhealthy, because I'm on the side of like if they're all healthy, I'm downgrading him.
Yeah.
If they're all not healthy, I will bump Olsen up 100%. So like where do you fall on that? Like just talk about, because he's one of kind of like controversial kind of guys. So go
All
ahead.
right, can I go first?
Go first.
Do it, dude.
Yeah,
After that.
Just piggybacking on what Tyler said is I think Greg Olson can repeat. I think he could end up being like top 10 tight ends. I think just with what we saw there, I feel like the reason they signed Greg Olson is because they ran into the issue where they had the tight end scheme working perfectly with their offense. It was like unstoppable. And then they ran out of tight ends because everybody kept getting injured. So I think that was more of a football move. And if I had a team, I'm going to throw Greg Olson out there in front of Will Disley. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually, I mean,
To
I
add
agree.
to that.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think Olson's one of those guys where, like you were saying, he's a vet. Because I know Pete Carroll likes vets. That's why he brought Marshawn back. Like, he likes those guys that are, like, good in the locker room that are, and Greg Olson, I don't know if you know, but he's, like, a great locker room guy. I know, I think I talked about it last time. Like, the Bears, when he was on the Panthers, the fucking owner literally flew him. I don't know if you read, like, he had, like, some twins that were going through problems.
Yeah.
He, like, paid for, like, everything, like, held them down. So, like, Greg Olson's, like, a good locker room guy. So it's like, does he have a chip on his shoulder? Yes. Those are guys that I root for. I mean, he's one of those guys that's been hurt for a long, like, you know, he has, like, his history of being injured, but he's a football player. And I mean, he's one of those guys that I think he wants to go out and prove himself. So I think if he can stay healthy, I mean, that's anybody, but I think if he can play a full 15, 16 games, I think he actually could be productive.
Yeah.
Because he is a vet. He can find those seams and those soft spots and zones. And Russell Wilson, you know how it is when Russell Wilson likes to scramble, he looks for guys. I think that's one of the guys he's going to be able to find.
No, I see the upside 100%, but I'm trying to help myself like get better
Yeah.
too. So that's why I'm listening to your guys' curiosity.
Yeah.
If like all guys are healthy, like how do you guys feel about it? Because that's where my worry goes. I said I take negatives, positives. I'm like trying to be unbiased as I can.
Yeah.
So if all guys are healthy, like how do you guys feel? How do you feel about it?
I think it actually would help Greg Olson because now when they're running 2 tight end sets or even 3 tight end sets, like Disley and Hollister could predominantly block. Of course, some of them might actually go for passes, but it's like now Greg Olson, if he's the only tight end, there might be plays where it's like, Greg Olson, we can't have you go out and run. We need you to block on this play. But if you have a guy like Disley or Hollister where it's like they can block on the outside, then it's like now it opens up things for Greg Olson. And what you're kind of saying right here, I mean, we saw how productive Greg Olson was with Cam Newton. And you know me, I love Killer Cam. He's one of my favorite players. But, I mean, if we're going to gauge on who's a better quarterback, Killer Cam or Greg Olson, Russell Wilson, I think we're all going to say Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Cam does his thing. No disrespect.
There are some question marks with Greg Olson. I'm not going to say like it's all sunshine and rainbows right there. Obviously, the guy, you know, one thing I loved about Greg Olson in the past was he was like a model of consistency. Like, you knew what you were getting. Like, you'd go draft the guy, he'd get you 5 for 60 every single week and a touchdown here and there. And, like, you just knew what you were going to get. He was never going to, like, give you a goose egg or cost you your week. He was just going to, Mr. Consistent is what he used to call him.
He wasn't going to win you a game, but he wouldn't lose you a game.
But, I mean, obviously,
ever.
his last couple of years, he has been kind of falling apart. So maybe it is the older age. I mean, does he go out there and get hurt again? That's a huge possibility as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm just basing it on how we've seen these lesser talented tight ends kind of emerge in this offense and in this scheme. You know, we're just talking about it, you know, with Hunter Henry. You know, it's the scheme. If he was to go to the Patriots with Tom Brady, he'd be a top 5 tight end.
Yeah.
So I just think this is a good landing spot for him in this Seahawks offense with Russell Wilson. We'll just see. There are some question marks with him, though.
Well, he's
But
one of
he's
those
a
like
football
13
player,
tight
though.
ends. So there's all question marks about those guys. But something I'd like to point out is like Greg Olson's never had more than 6 touchdowns, I believe, in a full season. But he's a different scheme, different quarterbacks. This is something where it's like you have to like kind of almost. His upside is 9 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, we
You know,
saw
with
Jimmy
Russell
Graham
Wilson.
have what 10 that one year.
But I'm saying to the point of like you just like if you look at numbers, you look at Greg Olson is like, oh, he's never scored more than 6 touchdowns. You'd be like, oh, okay. But it's a whole different
he did have
situation. It's a whole
7.
different quarterback. Or is it 7?
He had
1 year?
7 in 2015.
So 1 year.
I just
like
I just
15.
because people in the comments are
Yeah,
I get
they're
them to correct
dickheads.
us.
So 6, 7,
So if I
whatever.
can just
All right, so he had 1 year of 7, but
7.
below that. But I'm saying he's never
His
been a high
floor,
touching volume, is what I'm getting at. So let's get to that point. So the point of there's been a high touchdown volume tight end, but you're dealing with Russell Wilson, who's a highly efficient red zone quarterback. So that upside is there. So that's where it's like I almost dismiss that a little bit. So I do see the upside. He's one of my harder guys for me to rank.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
He's like really one. He's one where it's like I'm struggling to rank.
See, he's one of the guys.
That's why I like to
where-
hear your guys' opinions, so it helps me,
Yeah.
like kind of help to judge like what I want to think about.
Well,
it.
we could say, remember that year when the Seahawks did have Jimmy Graham? He got 10 receiving touchdowns, and we would joke around a long time like their running game when they got close was the jump ball to Jimmy Graham because they
sure.
had no running
It was
game. So I
doggy.
mean, we're talking about there are some question marks. So Chris Carson in the hip, Carlos Hyde. I mean, he got 1,000 yards last year for the first time in his career. But I don't know what it is about that guy. Maybe he's not a good locker room guy, but he just can't seem to stay on a team. He's on like what 6th team in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
and then
that's the thing.
this team could really lean on Russell Wilson in the passing game more than the running game.
I agree with that. I
So
think that's what's gonna
could we
happen.
see Russell Wilson, throw for 35 plus touchdowns, and when they get in close, Greg Olson could get, 6 or 7. You know what I'm saying? 50
I think that's more to the
catches.
point. Is like I feel like I know you feel that way too. I think that's more to be pass heavy than it
Well, I
has
mean,
been
if their
fast.
offense is moving, for sure. I think Olson's one of those guys where I'll take him as my second tight end, I'll take one before him just because where he's going to go, and then match him up. I mean, if
He's one of those guys
balls,
too. To Dre's point, like if he
take
balls
him.
out in the beginning,
you take him, you keep him.
if he
and
has a
ride.
2-touchdown game and a 2-touchdown game, trade him.
Trade him.
on
Flip
3-4
him. Trade him.
targets.
Flip him,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
the perfect scenario.
And-
You're not
100%.
spending high draft capital.
No,
on
not at all.
Greg Olson. You're getting him in those double-digit rounds. You know,
For sure.
Like 14, 13.
Yeah,
100%.
and tight ends will win you league. So if you can get a dude who's balling, even if you get a guy who's like a flex play, you can dish him and you'll be all right.
Yeah. So that was just like a good tight end was a good talk about.
No,
Good.
yeah.
Mike, next.
How many we got? How many more?
We got 2 more. We got Jack Doyle, played for the Colts.
Doyle rules.
Finished in 2019 as the tight end, 17.5 point PPR. Repeat or deplete, boys? Who's going first?
I'll go, I guess.
Who's on
If
first?
you don't want, I'll go if you don't want to.
I'm going to go repeat.
Who's on first?
It's a Phillip Rivers thing. Phillip
Yep.
Rivers, like we have such a history of him leading on the tight ends. Is Jack Doyle going to be sexy? No, but is he going to be someone who's consistent to an extent? I think so. We have Trey Burton there, he hasn't shown much. I do like the prospects of Michael Pittman and what's his name, Perriman? I don't know.
Yep.
Perriman. But we've seen Phillip Rivers for years and years lean on the tight end. So I think he's due for a tight end who's due for 80 targets. You give me 80 targets, top 15.
All right, I got you.
You meant Paris
Right on
Camp.
the-
Paris Camp.
right-
Sorry,
Camp, I know what you mean.
I'm terrible at names. If you guys haven't noticed by now,
No.
I get
got you.
confused.
I mean, honestly, dude, it is pretty amazing how much, because they say you're only able to remember like 150 names.
Dude, I'll meet a girl
Like
who's hot,
total.
low key.
Like
Like,
friends,
oh, jeez.
like in your life. You know how many names we know from football?
I know a lot of
I know
names.
150 names.
Bro, and I'm
easy.
bilingual. I remember fucking all the Spanish names.
I'll be like, this bitch is bad as fuck, but I forgot her name.
I,
Right
see,
after
hey,
I met her.
I wouldn't even take 30
I'm
seconds.
so bad at names.
This will be quick. That's pretty fast.
That's when you're Stevie Wonder, maybe.
No, even sober. Stevie Wonder, 100%. But non Stevie Wonder, I still
Dre,
forget.
you go
just
next.
Yeah, I'll go. This will be quick.
By the way, yeah, okay, never mind. I was
All
gonna
right.
say,
I'm going to go deplete. I mean, Jack Doyle is good with tight ends. So I'm looking at his numbers. He's only had 3 seasons with over 70, or actually, he's only had 2 seasons of over 75 targets. And in those 2 seasons, he finished tight end 13 and 7. And in those 2 seasons, he had 5 and 4 touchdowns, 80 catches. I mean, his target rate is good. He's one of those guys that's more target dependent. So I'm going to say deplete. Bing.
Wait, how many targets did he have in those 2 years?
108
What?
and 75.
Oh, okay.
What did Anthony just say?
How
That's
many
it.
targets did he have in those 2 years?
Every other year, 7, 22, 14, 33, 72.
How do you know what tight end spot he finished in?
Well, I thought he told me he said deplete.
No, I thought you said for those years that he finished tight end.
Oh, no, I said no. He had 2 of those years. He finished tight end 15. 2 of those, both
He
of
said
those
7
years.
and 13, right?
7 and 13.
Oh, okay. All right. What did he finish as tight end? 19?
17.
Okay.
17.
That's kind of low.
Yeah, I'll go repeat. I actually think he could be a sneaky top 12 tight end, like one of these sleepers. I mean, you're just saying right now, in those years, he finished tight end 13 and tight end 7, getting those targets. And what Anthony was saying, we've seen Phillip Rivers. He loves the tight end situation.
sure.
I mean, Antonio Gates for so many years. And that's the reason why we liked Hunter Henry in Los Angeles or in San Diego with the Chargers. It's because of Phillip Rivers, and he likes to lean on the tight ends. No more Eric Ebron there. So, he should see the lion's share of the targets. They did bring in Trey Burton, so that's just one thing you have to monitor. Are they going to use Trey Burton like they use Eric Ebron? If not, and it's the O'Doyle show, yeah, I think he could be a sneaky sleeper tight end.
Word.
And it's always been a red zone thing with Rivers to the tight ends.
And he's big. I mean, 6'6", 260. I mean, he's 30, but yeah.
He
Those
might
are-
not even need a high target.
I would rather
volume.
have, I keep saying O'Doyle.
O'Doyle.
Yeah.
O'Doyle rules.
I'd rather have Doyle over Rudolph, just because
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like he's.
you're right. Yeah. His best year was 2017. He finished at 7 PPR, 9 standard. So, yeah, for sure.
Anything else you guys want on that one?
No.
Are you all
Go
right?
Colts.
I think
Go
you have,
Colts.
I think
Nah,
you
we're good.
have him in your dynasty league. The next guy we're talking about here, Andre. Am I wrong?
Boy.
Okay,
That's
I was
my
right.
boy.
We're talking about Jonnu Smith, plays for the Tennessee Titans. In 2019, he actually finished as tight end 19. Wow. Look at that. Coincidence? I think not. Will he finish as tight end 20 this year? Who knows? Because it's 2020, Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Okay.
I'll go first. This will be quick.
He only got 30
Ready?
seconds.
All right, perfect. So he was pretty much behind Delaney Walker last 6 games. Snap percentage, 94, 87, 80, 81, 82, 81. He had 2 touchdowns in those last 5 games. I don't know if you saw, he also had a carry for 57 yards. So, and if you looked in the playoffs, he also had a touchdown catch. He's one of those guys where he's more of an eye test guy. You look at the game, you watch him, he's a mismatch nightmare. Fuck with your boy.
I thought it was Derrick Henry in the ball right there. I'm not gonna lie.
No, dog, he's a big. Look,
I literally thought.
dude,
No, I'm
he's
not
a-
even lying. I
That's
thought it
how
was
big
Derrick
Derrick
Henry. I was like,
I'm
why?
telling you.
I was like, Mike, why are you showing Derrick Henry?
Dog, he's so big, but yeah. So yeah, fuck with your boy. I mean, that dude is gonna. He's a mismatch nightmare. I mean,
For sure. All right, I'll jump in next. Basically, kind of what I said with the whole Seattle Seahawks tight ends thing. If you were to Super Saiyan fuse Jonnu Smith and Delaney Walker, you would have had a top 12 tight end right there. I mean, obviously, Delaney Walker, I think, was a really good tight end, a savvy veteran. I don't know if it's injuries in the last couple of years. Maybe that's what it is. But, I mean, the Titans obviously feel comfortable with Jonnu Smith being the guy that they've released Delaney Walker. I mean, we kind of saw Tannehill. He led the league in passer rating and in completion percentage. So if you get a full 16 slate with Jonnu Smith, yeah, I think he's going to repeat and surpass that, actually.
he could exceed that for sure. Big boy.
He big boy.
He's a
Oh,
big
he
boy.
big boy.
He's gonna be those play action fucking Derrick Henry goal line. He's gonna eat off of those.
He's very hungry. He's going to eat.
He does visit the buffet frequently.
Sometimes when you're hungry,
it
you
is
eat.
closed. He is angry.
Jonnu Smith. All right, that's all we got for repeat.
I'll go repeat.
Oh, wait, did Anthony go?
Yeah, he's about to.
Oh,
I was the
did
one
I
in top
skip-
12, bro. Let me talk about my boy.
Hey,
Oh,
that's
I'm
his
sorry.
boy.
I-
He's
for
my
some
boy,
reason-
but that's his carnal.
See,
Jesus. All right. No more weight calls. All right.
All right, so now he's actually in my top 10 now.
Yeah,
I've actually
done.
moved Johnson.
Move him
I've
up,
watched
move him up.
I've watched the film, bro. It's like it's a freak athlete. It's a guy who's like, and I believe in Tannehill to some. I don't think he's gonna decrease to like a demolishment extent. And I think the Titans will have some good running ground the way they are, but I think they're gonna have to rely on the pass a little bit more. Relies to Jonnu Smith. No Delaney Walker, Jonnu Smith.
Corey Davis sucks?
Corey Davis sucks. He could be the number 2. Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith.
Top 10 tight end. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Blah. Sleeper.
Hey,
Bold
that.
prediction.
Clip that shit.
Guys, honestly, you know what I love about this podcast? Is that we don't even just give fantasy football knowledge. We're adding to your vocabulary.
Yeah, dude. Fuck you.
Jonnu Smith's not going to demolish. Okay? I don't know if you guys caught that. That's what
Well,
Anthony just said.
you know why you wouldn't catch him? Because that's such a good fucking word. He's not
Is
going
it?
to demolish. Yeah.
Is demolish a word?
That means he's not going to do
that's
anything
the best word
or
ever.
demolish. Yeah, what do you mean? That's a
Better
word.
be careful. Anthony's going to body you, dude.
I know.
You want a good body?
It means he's not going to fall back or abolish.
Bro, remember that? That was like it's like a year ago or year and a half ago.
Oh, my God.
Anthony was like, "You trying to get bodied?"
You for sure got to clip that in now.
That's so good.
Mike is like
Oh
crying.
man, it was so funny.
AMAC,
There's-
repeater
sorry about
There's
it.
been some episodes where Mike's crying. We need like a clip of that.
Yeah,
Just Mike
cry.
crying.
It's not even like I mean, it's like when we're saying crying, I was just laughing.
I ain't
so
gonna lie.
hard.
No, yeah, laughing.
Hey, I mean, this was great, but I'm more scared to go downstairs into your backyard right now.
What? Cause yeah, our live audience snuck into the backyard and they're playing around in the pool like little boys.
Or girls, but whatever. Yeah, who knows?
Hey, like he legit looks like Derrick Henry on the field sometimes.
Dude, he's.
I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, I saw
He's
him
a
catch a
fucking
ball.
monster.
I was like, is that Corey Davis? And then I was like, they wouldn't do a wide receiver toss. I was like, a tight end?
Nah, because he's too big for
Dude,
Corey.
he's
It's
so
either
big.
AJ Brown or Derrick Henry.
He's so big. Yeah.
So that like the Raiders, you know the Raiders draft the fastest people.
Dude.
The Titans are like, who looks the biggest in pads? 'Cause
I-
we're gonna take them.
I don't even know where they found Jonnu Smith, but dude is. Yeah.
He was right next to the cryo chamber where they made Captain
Dude.
America. They made Jonnu Smith right next door.
Bro.
He was like this scrawny little
That
kid.
that ball he caught in the playoffs where he mossed that dude was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It was effing stupid,
I think I
baby.
picked him up after that.
Who we got next?
That's it. That's all of them. We just did 12 there.
All right. Next
that's-
week we're gonna do
Deep
center
deep
and
sleeper,
DNs.
Chris
Yeah,
Herndon.
we're gonna talk about linebackers and defensive ends in the next episode. Just kidding. No, we're not.
Perfect. Montez Sweat.
Top 12 offensive coordinators.
And then
Actually, that would be
tackles.
actually. You know what? That's like an angle that I don't think
We should-
anyone's
we could-
ever
we
done.
could
Yeah,
that.
we can fuck with
But we
it.
could do that.
I was
honestly.
joking, but I was serious at the same time.
I mean,
Yeah,
really
I
should.
meant to bring that up.
We
Tune in
honestly,
next time.
but listen, thank you for listening. This is a little bit shorter than I feel like lately because we've been doing these rankings episodes. They take a little bit longer. So this one was about an hour. So nice and quick for as our podcast go. But thank you for listening. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, if you could go ahead and subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app as well as any
Good or
other
bad?
app.
Good or
No.
bad?
Rate. You can rate 5. You can write whatever you want. You can put and whatever you
Rate
want
5.
in the
Okay.
review, but make sure you rate us 5 stars, okay?
Hey, wait,
Yeah,
Mike, before we
5
leave,
stars, 5 stars.
repeat or deplete for Jonnu Smith?
Tight end 19, I'm going to say repeat. I became like a low-key, not really, but watching the Titans last year, or the Titans last year,
The Titans.
I'm going to say he can do better than 19.
And we do watch Attack on Titan together, so.
Yeah, we do watch Attack on Titan.
All right, I'm not a part of that. I don't know what that. That sounds like a
some
taco
anime-
truck. That
some
sounds like a
anime
taco
shit.
truck person. So,
A taco truck person.
hey, tune in. Tomorrow. Actually, we're not doing it tomorrow. I'm gonna get drunk.
Let Mike finish the close.
It's the Messiah's birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, he's celebrating early. He
Guys,
came
if you
in
want to watch
hot.
my birthday, DM us.
Yeah.
And Andre will spawn.
I did tell a couple girls for tomorrow. They're like, "Oh, you do a podcast?" Because they're like, "What are you doing your birthday?" And I was like, "My boys, where I do a podcast." And they're like, "What do you know about football?" I know football. I'm like, "Oh yeah." Then come fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
You
try to get the
get those
Super
super
Bowl
all
poopers.
they're going to say is
Tom Brady.
Yeah, of course. So we're
Jimmy Garoppolo.
so just know
Guys are being-
if we bring a girl on, they're gonna have to go through a screening process as far as what their fucking knowledge is. But she's like,
Okay,
"What do you know
okay.
about football?"
Guys, we're getting a little
casting
sexist.
couch.
No, that's a screening.
Nah,
What do you
that's
mean?
just screening.
That's real life. What
We
do you
have,
mean?
we
You
have
screen
Fantasy
it.
Football standards.
Listen, if you
Dude,
want
we
to come
didn't
talk
screen
football,
you. We didn't screen you. We should have.
me, I'm a fucking immigrant, dude. You did screen me. You screened my fucking citizenship.
Those greens.
You screened my whole life.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you got some fantasy football information from it.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you want any help, if you're starting a dynasty league and you need help on your draft, anything like that, we are here for you. Just please go ahead and reach out to us. We're giving it out free information.
We
We're
got
on it.
you. We
Honestly,
got
we're
you.
honestly, I will say is we're growing and we're gonna have to start because we are starting to get more and more comments and more people just asking us for things, and it's free right now, but I can't guarantee you it'll always be free, this information.
Yeah.
So hop on board, get on that information highway they call the internet,
Yeah.
where
let
the
us-
AVG Fantasy Football Podcast lives, the #1 fantasy football podcast, and us little boys are out.
Yeah, let us know some DraftKings that, like, if you want, like, because we were talking off air. I was like, I've been doing DraftKings and play draft.
Yeah, play draft. Yeah,
If you guys are
anything.
interested in that, let me know because I will do it.
He's
Yeah,
your
I'm here to
daily.
fucking make all
Hey,
of us
he's your
money.
daily fantasy guy right here.
So
If y'all
it's like,
need
I actually
something,
won money last year, so it's
this
like,
your guy right
I'm not even
here.
trying to act like a boss.
I have 2 fingers.
No,
No,
This your guy.
he's
but it's
not
like if
lying.
you guys actually
No.
want us to do that,
He's your guy.
I want us
Amax
to,
your guy.
I want you guys to like reach out to us because I will do it.
Yeah,
For the
I'm
people.
100%. Yeah, I'm 100%.
Because I'm here to make us money, us all money. Let's do it. Let's like team up together. I'll lay out play draft why I think this, why it's gonna work, why you should choose this guy on a certain basis. I had a lot of success last year.
Yeah, you
So
really
I
did.
want you guys to like
yeah, not a
reach
joke.
out to us.
I mean, we took
100%.
it. Anthony took it so seriously last year with Daily Fantasy. He was because in Nevada you can't play.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he was driving to the California state line, doing his roster, doing all that,
And then
draft,
driving
and then
back.
driving back. So
Didn't
I mean, if
didn't
that
ride
doesn't-
the roller coaster one fucking time.
if that,
Not one time.
If that doesn't prove to you,
That we're not new to this, we're true to this.
yeah, exactly.
We got you.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I want you guys to reach out if you
Yeah,
guys are
they
interested
will.
in that. I would love to create a content for you guys.
We
to help
got
you guys
y'all.
win money. Use that money to invest in your family, future, whatever.
All these links for
done.
everything for following us is down in the description below. Thank you for listening. This has
got
been the
y'all.
AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. The
Shout
#1
out to Cake Nightclub.
the #1 fantasy football
We're out here.
podcast. Random shout outs. Let's go.
Let's get it. Fuck with us.